Hello friends, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Let me get everything all going here for the live stream. Welcome, my name is Amy, I'm Philly. You've come to the right place if you're looking for a cooking live stream. And I'm glad you joined us. Alrighty, so I'm coming to you live from Philadelphia. And we are not going to be making something that you would usually find in Philadelphia, although you could find it in Philadelphia, but we are going to spice things up this week. So I don't know about you, but I know for me, when I'm trying to think about interesting things to have for dinner each night, I love new recipes. I love trying new things. And anyone that has been following me for a while knows I love a good meatball. And while I love a traditional meatball, in fact, there is a really good recipe that I got from a famous place in New York City that you want to check out. So when you look up the best meatballs, take a peek for that here on my channel, because it's not a live stream, it's actually a step-by-step instruction on how to make really good traditional meatballs. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. Tonight we're talking about how we can have fun with meatballs. I mean, for me, I think when you can have meatballs and have a rice bowl, like, first of all, are you all loving bowls? I find that if I put anything in a bowl, it just makes it better. It just seems better. It's presentation, right? We eat with our eyes first. So love things in a bowl, love rice, love meatballs. So let's put it all together for a fabulous, easy dinner tonight. So there are a couple key ingredients that you will need for this, and we'll go over those in just a minute. But tonight it is spicy Thai curry meatballs. But the spice you can control. So if you don't like a lot of spice, use less curry. If you like a little more spice, use a little more curry. And we'll talk about that in a second. But how yummy does that sound? So we are going to make a complete meal here. And, you know, I tend to take a little longer. I'm not a super fast cook. But if I wasn't doing a live stream, if I was really focused, it probably would take me probably about a half hour to get this from beginning to end ready to serve. But it might be a little longer because we're going to be chit-chatting. So welcome to my live stream, and I hope you enjoy it. So Archie, Barb, welcome to the stream. So good of you to join. Happy Wednesday. Some fries. I know, Arch. And by the way, Chef Archie Pie, which is on the stream, he's commenting below. He just dropped a video, I don't know, was it last week, Archie, for iconic British chips, which we like to call French fries here in the States. And Archie knows his way around so many things, but potatoes, he does know his way around. And they are a passion of his, and you can tell that from his comments below. So yes, they are going to be spicy balls there, Archie. You be good. I'm watching you. So yes, how you doing, Barb? I've been really thinking about you, and ever since I found out that you hadn't been feeling well. So I hope you're doing okay today. So is today a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Or as I like to say with my students, is it middle, kind of in between? I'd love to know how you're doing. So I'm going to talk to you about the ingredients, and we're going to get started straight away. So what you will need for this recipe are a couple of key ingredients. A lot of these things I think most of us often have, things like breadcrumbs and garlic, light brown sugar, and salt, onion, chicken, things like that, right? I'm looking at my ingredients right now. The things you might not have that you might have to go get are some curry as well as some coconut milk. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about that first. Oh, and you need an egg also for binding the meatballs. So one thing I know that we all face when we're cooking dinners and we want to try something new and different is sometimes we might have trouble finding ingredients. So what I want you to most know is get what you can get. So when you hear people like myself or people that are much more of an expert than I am talk about what would be the best option, know that that might not be an option you can get your hands on. So I want you to, for me, my opinion is I'd rather just do it with what you can find than worrying about whether it's the best Thai curry paste or whatnot. So for instance, this is one that you find quite readily in most of the stores here in the States. It's a Thai red curry paste. It's by Thai Kitchen. And there's nothing wrong with this. Like, it's not that there's anything wrong with Thai Kitchen. It's most common to be found in the States. But what I have found is what's even better are when I can find these little tins. So this is a little squatty tin. And this one is by Maisri. and it's a red Thai curry paste. And I find that these have a little more flavor, have a little more authenticity. So I always look for the little tins if I can get them. And sometimes they have them in the grocery stores around here. So that's just something to look for. So that's what I'm using today. But you could just use, if you happen to have Thai Kitchen, you can use that. And Archie, I don't know what you tend to have in over there, over the pond in Great Britain. So you'll have to let us know if there's certain brands that you really lean to, because I know you know your way around a lot of different ethnicity of cooking. So yeah, so let me know about that. And then the other thing you're going to need is some coconut milk. Now, I will tell you, we always try to, you know, the way I like to cook is I like to cook flavorful, delicious. I like to, I don't want us to feel like we're ever skimping. So I try to cut a little corners in places that we might not notice. So one of the places I cut corners whenever unless I'm cooking for company, which if Hubs was here, he would laugh, because company is what we call guests, or what I called guests growing up. And that is, I always get light coconut milk. But if that doesn't float your boat, get regular coconut milk. So regular coconut milk has more fat, it has more body to it, but I've always just enjoyed the light coconut milk. So for my regular everyday cooking, that's what I reach for. However, if I was cooking it for guests, I would splurge and use the full fat. So I have just found that I really like the light coconut milk, which is why I don't mind using it. But you do you. And at the end of the day, that's what we can do, right? We can all cook the way we most want to cook. So those are two ingredients you might not have. You also might not have ginger. Not everyone carries ginger. By the way, did you know that if you get a knob of ginger, because that's how it comes in these little pieces you can break off, that what you could always do is freeze it and, you know, keep it, put it in an airtight container, freeze it, and then you have it at the ready. Now, I'm a little lazier. So one of the things I like to do with my ginger is what I like to do often with my garlic. I do have fresh garlic in there, by the way. I've got a garlic keeper and I keep it fresh. But I like to use a ginger paste because it's ready on the go. So I will never frown on you for taking shortcuts, and I hope you never frown on others, because at the end of the day, if we're cooking and enjoying our food and trying new things, that's what it's all about. So for me, I find that I'm much more creative with my cooking when I have these ingredients that are ready to go. I work, so I come home and I can get things to the table quite quick. But of course, now I'm just chit-chatting, so I'm taking a long time. So ginger might be something you don't have all the time around. So we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to do, because I am making a meal in real time, is I'm going to get my rice ready. That's what my hack is. Whenever I'm making a rice bowl, I get my rice ready, because rice sits and hangs out and stays warm, and you don't have to think about it. So let's get our rice ready. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get it ready in here. I'm going to get my flame on so it's getting good and hot there. I'm going to use jasmine rice. You could use regular white rice. You could use basmati. You could just use long grain, whatever you like. And what I do is my ratio that I like for my rice is 1 cup to 1.5 cups of water. So that's the ratio I like if I'm doing it straight up like this. So I'm just putting 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water, calling it a day, and I'm putting that over the heat till it comes to a boil. Now, many people have rice cookers. My son, my youngest son, Matt, actually has a rice cooker. One of his roommates in college got him absolutely onto him, or got him onto it, whatever you call it, and he loves that. So that's what you do, and he swears by it. But I have a gadget problem, so I don't need any more gadgets, and I already have so many other things in the kitchen, so I don't have room for a rice cooker. So I make rice just the old-fashioned way. For me, I like, 1 cup to 1.5 cups water, and then once it comes to a boil, I'll put a lid on it, turn it way low, and you'll see me switch burners because this burner has an even lower burner, but it just takes longer for it to go up to a boil. So that's why I'm going to start there, and then put it on my lowest simmer burner and let it hang out there for 15, 20 minutes. Then I will turn the heat off completely and just let it sit. Let it sit, hang out, and then it's fine. So love that. All right, so we're going to and I stirred it just to make sure everything's on the bottom, and we're going to let that go until it comes to a boil. So let me catch up with the conversation. Let me see here what my friends are chatting. Oh my gosh, we're talking about brain transplants. So we have a little fun banter between Barb and Archie. I love it. So Archie said we had keema mutar mutter keema mutar, 4-dinner ground beef, pea and potato curry. I'm posting the video soon. I can't put into words how unbelievably good it was and so easy. Oh, Archie, we're looking forward to that. So if you're looking for more curries, definitely check out Archie's channel. He makes many curries and he is excellent at it. By the way, I want to tell you about the creator I got this recipe from. So Zena's Kitchen is on Instagram, and I think she has a Substack. I think that's where her other one is. And she came across my way when I don't know, not when I first started Instagram, but maybe a year in. And I just was drawn by the color and flavors of her cooking. So she makes the most beautiful and delicious looking food. And what I love is she's not shy with her flavors. And it is so wonderful watching her videos. And I love her cooking. And I've been dying to actually try one of her recipes. And she does a lot of fish, which I've got to do a fish recipe. And I think I might have done a play on one of her fish recipes before, not on live stream, but like just, on my own. However, when I saw these Thai curry chicken meatballs, I was like, oh, this is what I got to do. Because I love meatballs. I love a rice bowl. We got to do it. So thank you, Zena, for this recipe. I'm making a couple different adjustments, as we all do, because I'm making it work for me. So one of the things we talked about was, right here, was the light coconut milk. So we have our rice that's going to be getting started. We're going to get our chicken and our meatballs ready. We're going to get them cooking in the air fryer. She cooks them on a fry pan. You could do that. I'm going to use the air fryer because it's quick, easy, and I'm used to it. And then we're going to make a lovely sauce right here in front for them to go in. And already I prepared some broccolini, which is actually what she suggested in her picture, which I think goes wonderful with this. And we're going to steam this because there's so much flavor going on. So I kind of want that clean veg that's steamed to kind of balance the flavors, the spice, the yumminess, and bring some, kind of some grassiness to it. So I love broccolini. You could use regular broccoli. You could do green beans. You could do whatever vegetable you want. You could just have a salad on the side. You do you. So in any event, let's get these chicken meatballs ready. So I'm going to get my ground chicken. And right away, I'm going to break the rules because I thought I had ground chicken in the freezer because I have a lot of things in the freezer. And I didn't. I have ground turkey. But guess what? That's all good. You could use ground turkey. You could use ground chicken. Frankly, you can try and use ground pork. You can use different things you want. But I do like using poultry. So I have my ground turkey right there. And I'm going to need some onion that's going to go in these meatballs. And so I already had some shallot that had been cut. So I'm going to mince it a little bit farther and use that in my meatball because I like to use, and we have gotten to boiling here. So I'm going to give it one more quick stir. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn this one on a low heat and move it over. And when I said turn off, actually I meant turn on low here. But I'm going to turn this off now and move this over and set my timer for 20 minutes. There we go. Okay? All right, so our rice is done. We are going to zhuzh it up a little bit before we serve it, and it was based on Zena's suggestion. She suggested adding a little cilantro and lime, which I thought sounded wonderful. So we are going to do that. By the way, I'm going to get my lime out so I don't forget. All right, let me get my lime out. Excellent. Okay, so let's get to these chicken meatballs. Oh, and I got to check the chat again because I realized I kind of got off on a tangent and I need to finish looking up all that you were all chit-chatting about. DS, welcome. DS is in the room. Love that. DS, Archie, and Barb. Love it. Okay, let's see what I missed here. So Archie was saying the Thai pastes are very good. We can get a fresh one made by Blue Dragon. Oh, well, that I'm very envious with. That sounds wonderful. And I will tell you, in fact, I'm going to do it right now before I go back to the chat and look. When you open up your paste, oh my gosh, the scent is going to be amazing. I'm trying to look for my, all right, I had gotten it out and now it's gone. Oh, so it's a shame when you get out a tool and then you put it back before your stream starts. I literally got this thing out and I put it right back. So I'm just gonna open this up because I really want the aromatherapy of this curry paste. It is amazing. And fun fact, because I've never used one of these in one fell swoop, just put this in an airtight container. And that will keep for quite a while. Oh, I wish there was smell-o-vision. The smell is divine. It is so, like you smell this and you already get excited. Like this is gonna be so yummy. Very, very excited about this dish. I love Thai curry. All right, well, we need this for nope, I'm digressing. I don't need this. Okay, let me get my stuff in there. So as I was saying, I'm going to cut these shallots a little bit finer for my meatballs. But meanwhile, I'm going to look and see what we're all chit-chatting about. And then Archie says, I cook my rice, then refresh under the cold running tap and leave for an hour to drain, then reheat in the wok or fry. Oh, I love that, Arch. Great tip. I love that. See, this is the great thing about this stream is we have cooks that come on and comment. And of course, Archie and DS, they are chefs. And you have people that come on and they comment and they can give great advice, which is awesome. So I'm just gonna take my shallot and I'm going to chop it up a little bit more. I don't want any really big pieces of onion, so I'm going to be trying to get this quite small. So getting this minced up. So thank you for that, Archie. And let me see here. Yes, DS, can you believe, and Barb, how the temperatures have changed? So if you were watching the stream last weekend was, it was still really chilly. Like this spring, I wouldn't say this spring, this May has been very interesting here in the States, especially on the East Coast. It has been, except for some warm days, it has been quite chilly in general for May. Like we've had more chilly days in May than I can remember for a long time, and especially for as many days as we've had. It's also been quite rainy here for sure. Now we did need the rain at one point this winter. We were in a drought, so I'm okay with the rain. It does get a little gloomy after a while, but I know it's really important for the plants. It's actually reduces fire danger. I know Canada's having some trouble with fires right now, so rain is our friend. Oh, and those are still spicy. Okay, so I'm gonna put those are minced up really nice, and so we're good to go with that. But meanwhile, it was chilly, and then this week it went from, I think Monday was in the 60s, Tuesday was in the 70s, and today's in the 80s, and then tomorrow's gonna be like 90. So it's nothing like going from 0 to 90, and these are really spicy. They're making my eyes water, in a course of a couple days. So it has been interesting. And meanwhile, I'm going to step back because they are really spicy. Meanwhile, I will tell you, did I turn that off? Yes. Meanwhile, I will tell you that at night it got quite cool also, like at the beginning of the week. So we've seen a bunch of change. And, so DS. Oh, and these are one of my favorite kind of flour, DS. Alsta Maria. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. They are, I was reading something the other day about little ways to kind of bring a little fancy to your everyday. And one of them is talking about putting on music when you cook, which I love to do. I can't do it here because I would have to pay royalties. So I can't do that. I don't have that kind of money. So I can't play music when I'm cooking for y'all. But flours, these are like this week they were on this bunch, and there's like more than half of these in 2 other vases over there. For all of it was like $6 at the grocery store. So, and what I love about these are almost a week old, and look how beautiful they still are. So this kind of version, they come in different colors. They last a long time. They looked pretty. I love them. So I love getting fresh flowers once a week. That's my little splurge. But I don't like spending a lot of them. So I usually spend anywhere from $5 to $10 in total for the flowers each week, and that's my little splurge that I like to do. Helps my little fancy that I like to do. But yes, there are different curries all around the world. And Archie was saying fluffy and separate grains guaranteed if you rinse and drain. Absolutely. Now I will say, Arch, it's funny, like with rice, and I bet you everyone has an opinion about it, but I actually don't mind. I mean, I don't want my rice sticky like in a glob, but it's weird. So when growing up, I don't remember what rice was like when I was real little, but I remember at some point when Uncle Ben's came on the market, and Uncle Ben's was known as these separate grains, and they were. But what I found, they were. This is just my opinion. They just seemed, and I grew up. My mom used Uncle Ben's all the time, but they were just so smooth. They didn't really have roughness. I don't know. They weren't like the rice I'd have when we go to, an Asian restaurant, which of course it is a different rice. It's a shorter grain, but the texture as I got older, I'm like, I want like more traditional rice. So my favorite one is jasmine, and I don't mind if they're a little sticky. And of course, when I make sushi rice is very sticky on purpose. And that's a shorter grain rice. And then risotto, because of how arborio rice, how you cook it, helps it stay separate but creamy and all that good stuff. And then there's basmati. So there's all different kinds of rice. But like for my rice bowls, I don't mind if they're, I don't want them sticky, but I don't want them, they don't need to be like scattering when they all go in the bottom of the bowl, if you know what I mean. So, yes, and pre-wash, yes. So, and there's a whole nother discussion on that, whether you rinse or not your rice, and we're not even gonna go there today. But in any event, let's get started on these meatballs so they can get cooking. So I'm gonna get my air fryer preheating while we get this mixed up. So in a bowl, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna moisten some of the ingredients so it'll help our meatballs stick together. I'm gonna take off my rings. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna crack an egg. And then we're gonna also put in a tablespoon of coconut milk. Now, I will tell you, I'm doing a little bit different measurements because if you look at her recipe, by the way, everything's below the link to not only her recipe, but the video that caught my eye from Instagram, so you'll get to see that too. But I have 10 ounces of ground chicken. So I'm kind of estimating on things because I think she starts with, it might be 500 grams of chicken, which is I think like 18 ounces. So in any event, we're just guesstimating. We're just kind of generally following this recipe so it works with my 10 ounces, and not chicken, of ground turkey, excuse me. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna mix the breadcrumbs, the coconut milk, and the breadcrumbs, the coconut milk, the egg, the curry paste, the ginger, the garlic, and the salt. So here's my egg. I'm going to put in here, let me see how much I want. I estimated like a rounded tablespoon, right? Just make sure. I actually didn't write what I would do. I think it's a tablespoon. Let me just check my recipe here, friends. Sorry about that. I didn't put the little, see, this is what happens when you're writing quickly and you didn't put, yeah, tablespoon. Okay, that's what I thought it was. That made sense. Oh my goodness, you can't take me anywhere. Okay, see, you too can do a live stream. All right, so I have all my instruments here. So first thing we're gonna do, let me go back, is we're going to do a half tablespoon, and I actually have that with these, which is nice. So this is a half tablespoon, and I'm gonna round it a little because I like a little spice. So I'm gonna put that half tablespoon of the curry paste. We're gonna need this for our sauce later, so I'm gonna leave that there. I also need a half teaspoon of ginger. I'm just gonna eyeball that. Oh, that probably is that's probably a little more. So there'll be a little gingery. All good flavors. Boy, that really came out fast. I was not expecting that. That ginger like came out in a hurry. We'll go a little less garlic because Hubs, I don't think he'll be here before the end of the stream. It's hard to tell because he's got something after work today. So I don't think he will, but if he is, I don't want the garlic to go too crazy. We're also gonna put in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. My salt is right here. So 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we need the breadcrumbs. And for the breadcrumbs, I need, let me see that again. Oh my goodness. Did I not write them down? Oh, that's right, I need to measure that. I need to measure it by weight. That's what I was gonna do. Okay, and I was gonna do that first, so I didn't have to use another bowl, but I forgot. So, all right, so I'm going to do in here, and did I write my breadcrumbs down? Oh, I think I'm sorry, friends, I gotta check again. I really did prepare. I did, but now I've forgotten what I prepared. Okay, so we are going to need, let me look here, friends. There we go, breadcrumbs, 50 grams. So I'm gonna need more than half. So I'm gonna put this here, like that, and I'm gonna get maybe like 30 grams of breadcrumbs. There we go. And my breadcrumbs are panko. She does recommend panko. And mine are a mix of white and whole wheat. So you do you, just do what you want. She does recommend the panko. You know, I think at the end of the day, really any breadcrumbs could be, although the regular breadcrumbs aren't quite as fluffy as these are. So we're gonna add that there. And what's gonna happen, especially once I add the coconut milk, which by the way, the coconut milk I wanna add is 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna get this shook up, is it's going to help moisten those breadcrumbs and help keep the meatballs tender. Okay, and we're gonna be using the rest of this then. I want 1 tablespoon of coconut milk. We're gonna use the rest of this then, whoops, there's a little more, in our sauce. So I'm gonna put this right over here, so it's here for our sauce. No, actually we're gonna make the sauce here. I'll leave it on this side because I'm gonna do it right here in front of y'all. And then we're gonna take this, and I'm gonna get a little fork, and we're just gonna mix this up and let this moisten. So we're flavoring the breadcrumbs with the egg, the coconut milk. So I'll show you what that looks like. So there you go, see? And then to this, we're going to be adding our ground chicken, ground turkey. I don't know why I keep saying ground chicken, because that's what I put on the title, and our onions. Now I think this is actually more onions than we need, so I'm going to be adding about that many. So I don't think we need all these onions. So we'll keep those over there. And then what I like to do, I will get my hands in here, but what I like to do is first use a fork. And the reason being is I do not want to squish, I kind of fold it. I don't want to squish these meatballs. So what I absolutely do not enjoy when I have meatballs is dense ones that they're not light and fluffy. And so, you know, they're like a hockey puck. I don't want a hockey puck meatball. I want something light and delicious and tender. And so I have found, for me, starting with the fork helps keep the mixture more tender, so it doesn't get so compacted. And there you go. So that's what your mixture will look like then. Now I'm just gonna double check and make sure I did all the ingredients because I felt a little bit ditzy doing this. So we put in the turkey, the coconut milk, the egg, let me go back to the stream. I also can't see y'all, so I need to get back there now that I'm back here. The red curry paste, the ginger paste, the garlic paste, the salt, the shallot, and we are good to go. This is preheated. The next thing I do want to finish is I want to get these made, and then we'll put them in the air fryer, okay? So these, I don't know, I'm gonna make them like a nice, I don't know, like a golf ball size, maybe like that size. But you can do you do the size you want, but that seems about right to me. And if they're sticking too much to you, you can always add water so that they don't stick. And then what we're gonna do instead of frying these in a pan is I'm going to spray them lightly with, I think it's avocado oil, but you could use really any spray you have, and then cook in the air fryer at 400 for 10 minutes. Now my air fryer is all preheated. I will get it going again in just a second because it just stopped. So now it's gonna cool off again, but at least it's not a cold one. And by the way, whenever you're using an air fryer, you always want to preheat because it just makes sure that you get the best result from your cooking. So we're just trying to make these all be about the same size so they'll cook evenly. And as you can see, like this comes together quite quick. If I'm not chit-chatting, I actually can get stuff done pretty quick. The problem is when I start yapping. Let me see what you all are saying here. So Archie was like, what did they do when it was pre-washed? I'm sure they were washing a lot, and still there's many recipes. I know when I made the biryani that they wanted you to rinse the rice before you did it for biryani so that it would help keep it a little more separate when it cooked. And by the way, I don't know if you all saw this, but I saw a video about rinsing rice the other day. You know, this is the kind of stuff that comes on my feed. And it was talking about how that, you know, in recipes they'll say rinse until the water's clear. And this was I forget who the fellow was, but he was an expert, you know, someone that knew his way around not only the kitchen, but cooking with rice. And he was like, you know, the more you agitate rice in water, the more cloudy the water's gonna be. So you can't say, okay, do it 2 times until the water is clear. That is not going to check out. So I thought that was really interesting. What he said is just do it 2 or 3 times, and then that's good. Call it a day. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting, because when I was making the biryani, I think the fella talked about the rice, the water running clear. And if you recall, I had to rinse it many times, and it was getting clearer, but it never was what I would call clear. So I just thought that was really interesting, that if you rinse your rice, just do it a few times. As you agitate, they rub against each other, and it becomes more cloudy. And that kind of makes sense to me, right? So I thought that was really interesting. He had done like a little test on it, and I think he was irked that that's always said to people, and I think it confuses people in the kitchen at times. Anyways, I digress. So the meatballs are made. Get this fell on the ground. We'll get a new one. And I'm going to get this back to preheating just so I can get that temperature up. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bring over the basket. I'm going to put these, let me put this in here. I'm going to put these in the basket with a little spray. Let me get my spray right now. Hold on, I'm good with that. I'm sorry. Thinking, live streaming, cooking. It is a lot. Okay, so let me get my spray. And then let's get this show on the road. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. I preheated it. I'm putting my basket in. And then all I'm going to do, I'm first going to just spritz with a little bit of oil on the bottom. And then I'm going to take these and, as best I can, space them out. Let me see here. Hopefully this will work. Oh, I think this will work. There we go. And we're going to check them halfway, and we're going to rotate them. So I will show you what they look like. And then in picking those up and placing them, some of them got a little misshapen, but I just like to call it rustic. Don't you like to call it rustic? So I'm going to spritz these with some oil. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And we're going to pop those in the oven. So this is what you're going to do. See that? They're all ready to go. And how easy was that? Not only how easy was it, but how quick was it? And we are going to put this at 400 over here. Let's see, get this up to 400. And I'm going to put this for 10 minutes and check it halfway and flip them. So there we go. All right. So that part's done. Nice. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get the sauce ready. Sorry for all the dish clanking. And that will do right in front of you. We're going to get the sauce ready so that we can add them to the sauce once they're done cooking and get all that yummy flavor. So I can put my rings back on. Let me check the chat. So here it's called Easy Cook. It's awful. Are you talking like minute rice, Arch? Is that what you're talking, I wonder? So Hubs will be eating this later. I don't think he's going to get home because he has something after work. I don't think he'll be home in time to say hello. But he will be eating this later. And then, have I been on the gin? I have not. I've not. 5 grams is roughly 2 ounces, Phil. Thank you. Thanks, Arch. If you ever see coconut milk powder, woo, I have never seen that. Thank you, Archie. I've never heard of that. That is new for me. And then you use the air fryer. Archie said he used the air fryer to scorch his bell peppers. That's awesome. I've never tried that. And usually what I do is I'll put them at, in the regular oven on the broiler. But I will definitely try an air fryer. Good to know. 15 minutes on 400. Uncle Ben's. Okay, so Uncle Ben's, by us, they have the longer cooking rice that takes like a good 20 minutes, and then they have instant rice. And then they have rice now in pouches that's already cooked that you just steam, like you just microwave. But it's the Uncle Ben's, because it still took 20 minutes to cook. It wasn't like quick rice. It wasn't 5-minute rice. But I didn't like the texture as much. But that was the thing. I mean, back in I don't know if that was in the 70s, maybe. That was like all the rage. Everyone got Uncle Ben's rice. Uncle Ben's, like they was all over the commercials, right? So, I mean, it was fine. But I like more traditional rice, between you and me. So, in any event, let's get on the sauce. So I'm going to bring you guys over here as we get this sauce ready. And I did hear the beeper go off, so my rice is done, so I'm going to turn off the heat. And look how nice. That rice, it kind of worked while we were just chit-chatting, right? So that's what the great thing about rice. And by the way, I'm going to rinse this. I want to get my cilantro ready first for my cilantro lime rice. So I'm going to do a couple things to do that. First thing I'm going to do is I've got some cilantro that I cleaned right here, or coriander you might call it. I think she calls it coriander. And I'm just going to bring it out here and cut some of it off. There we go. Put that back in. I know for some people it tastes like soap. I love cilantro. I think it tastes so good. All right. So, and what's nice with coriander or cilantro is the stems are quite tender. So you can just cut them up and it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to get this cut up, and that way I can add this to my rice. Just do a rough chop. I can add it to my rice and maybe even sprinkle. Now, I know the stems don't matter, but I'm going to take some of the big ones out. That's what I usually do. There we go. So we can sprinkle some on top, and we can put some in the rice with some lemon zest. I'm going to use lemon zest, and then I'm going to squeeze a little lemon on the top. There we go. Okay, so there's our cilantro's all set. Now I'm going to get my lime. First thing I'm going to do is zest it real quick. To zest it, you can just grab a microplane. And I want to dry it because that way, here we go. I'm just going to get some zest, and that way I can use that. And this will, the oils in the skin will flavor the rice and just give it a little background lime flavor. It'll really make it a little more zhuzhy. Hubs would hate that. He would hate that word. But it would make it a little more zhuzhy. So there's my zest, which is ready to go. And then I am going to cut this lime into 2 wedges so we can use it for squeezing as well. And there you go. So that's all set. So I'm going to put this aside for once we put the bowls together and once I get the rice ready. Speaking of bowls, let me get those out. Okay, so next up is the sauce. So let me just tidy this up a little bit, bring you around here, and get the sauce ready. Oh, I just see that, or I just heard that our beeper went off, so let's go check out the meatballs, see how they're doing. I'm going to get my little tongs to flip. Let's see. Okay, so you see they're not done yet, but we're just going to flip them. Just going to flip them around so they can brown. Now, you absolutely could put these straight on to the air fryer, but I have a feeling I'm going to be cleaning this up by myself, so I am definitely using my little parchment paper thing here. It really helps with cleanup. So what I have done with all these years in the air fryer is I decide whether it is cleanup worthy. So like when I do wings, they are cleanup worthy, so I do not use parchment paper. However, when I do this, my meatballs, they're going to be going in sauce anyway, so I'm not going to put them on. I'm going to make my cleanup a little bit easier, and that I just get on Amazon. Makes it really easy. All right, so let's get this sauce. Let me get a pan. Forgot to get that out. More clanking. Okay, so for our sauce, I'm going to bring you over so you can see. Let me bring you over here. Let's get you down. Okay, there we go. Oop. Does that work? There we go. Okay, here's the sauce. So for our sauce, we are going to be needing some different ingredients. We're going to need the coconut milk. We're going to need the Thai red curry paste, the ginger, the fish sauce, the light brown sugar, and the turmeric. So I need to just check my recipe real quick because I forget the process that she recommended for that. Usually I would be blooming the curry paste. Oh, that curry paste smells so good. But let me just see what her method is. Oh, let's see here. Yep, curry paste and ginger paste that we want to get that fragrant. That is what's always recommended because, look at this. That's that great curry paste. So when you bloom it in the heat, it helps like the flavors awaken. So that is definitely what you want to do. So I'm bringing that there. I'm going to bring my ginger over. And that is all she wrote. So let's get this on so we can get those flavors blooming. So I'm going to turn this on. Let's see. Let's put it on medium. This one gets quite hot. And let me get my oil. Now you could use coconut oil if you wanted to. Sometimes I do that in this kind of cooking. I used all my avocado oil in my spray, so I'm just going to be using some vegetable oil. I'm not going to use a lot of vegetable oil, no surprise. I just try to watch. And to this, again, we are producing this recipe based upon that fact that I'm kind of doing this in half, so to speak. I'm going to put this here so I can hold the handle. And so in here, I'm going to be adding a half rounded tablespoon of Thai red curry paste. Now this you do to your liking. So I'm going to start there, which is probably more like one because that was a really big half. But I like it spicy. So you can, and just try it and see how you like it. And if you like it spicier, next time make it a little bit spicier. Let me get something good that I can use here. Let's see, I think we'll do this. And I'm going to come on this side because I find my arm is always in the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm getting this in the oil, letting it bloom. And I'm also going to go get my ginger. So I think we're just putting in like a half teaspoon of ginger. And again, letting those flavors come alive. And I just splurted. Oh my gosh, I put it on the floor. Hubs, he loves me so much, but I tell you, I can make a mess. It is no joke. So when I tell you how good this smells, oh my goodness. It smells amazing, okay? And I gotta show you, once I get the coconut oil in fact, let me show you real quick. I gotta show you where I splooped it. See that? Yep, there we go. Okay, I'm probably gonna wipe it up in just a second so it doesn't stain. I am a messy cook. And now we're gonna add our coconut milk to here. This is the remainder of the can. There we go. And again, I'm using light. You use whichever one you fancy. And then we have a few more ingredients we want to add to this. Let me wipe up this curry paste though, because this is bugging me and I'm gonna step in it and then I'm gonna get something else with curry paste. It also came there. I am definitely a messy cook. All right, so the next ingredient we're going to put in here is some light brown sugar, some turmeric, and some fish sauce. So let's get that. The light brown sugar will add a little bit of sweetness, and I'm going to add this. I'm going to have this go up a little bit. Ooh, my heat reduced. Okay, let's get that back up. So all we need is just a touch, so about a half teaspoon of light brown sugar. I'm just going to put a little smidge. It's hard to put a little smidge. I'm going to try my best. There we go. That's plenty. Just putting a little smidge. We're also putting in a half teaspoon of turmeric. So I will measure that out. I don't want to just have that thing dumped. Meanwhile, let me get this together. There we go. You can see the color is coming on. All the flavor that's going into that coconut milk. Nice. And it's going to continue to come together. So meanwhile, let's check on our meatballs because they're done. So while that's coming up to a simmer, let's take a look. And let's see how they are. Oh, gorgeous. Look at those. Beautiful. Aren't those nice? Wow. Those turned out nice. Look at the color on those. Love it. And they smell so good. Okay, we're going to let those hang out. Let me unplug my air fryer. And let's go back and finish our sauce. Here we go. Okay, you can see it's already starting to bubble, which is what we want. We want it coming together. And I'm going to get the turmeric added to it. So I'm going to get my little half teaspoon. Let Let me see, over here. Yep, there it is. And then we're gonna do a half a tablespoon of fish sauce. Fish sauce is that special ingredient. That is, I should have mentioned, that's the other ingredient that is a bit special that you might not have. And I do think fish sauce gives you that something that you can't quite put your finger on. And so I do recommend, I think it's a great ingredient. It's an invaluable ingredient for lots of Thai cooking. It just adds such a different flavor. It just adds like a, I don't know, it just enhances in such a way. And people get worried when you hear fish sauce because it does smell, I'm gonna be honest, quite fishy, but it doesn't taste that way. It does taste like fish. Like I would say to my youngest, who's not a fish guy, that a lot of things he enjoys probably have fish sauce in them. He doesn't even realize it because there's so many other flavors going on. It just enhances. But yes, if he takes a taste of fish sauce, he's going to taste fish. Like it's going to definitely taste like that. But it's more than just a fishy taste. And I need to find my, I think it's half a tablespoon of fish sauce. Let me add this to it. Half a tablespoon. And this one that is my favorite brand I've gotten is Red Boat. And it is, look how dark that is. It is gorgeous. It has great flavor. And it does have a fishy smell, but it's like more than just fishy even. Some of the other ones I've had truly, in a way, just kind of smell fishy. But this one is just amazing. All right, so this has come up and it's coming together. The paste is becoming one with the sauce, with the coconut milk. And I'm going to taste it before I add the meatballs to it. Let me just give it a little taste. Very good. I think it needs a little salt. She did not mention salt. I think it needs a little salt. And actually, I'm trying to think. I mean, there is salt in the fish sauce. Maybe it isn't salt. What does it need? I think it needs a little lime. I know I'm going to be adding lime at the end, but I really think it could use some right now. So I'm going to add a little lime juice. It just needs a little something. There's something that's a little bit off on the balance wise. So, and I'm also going to turn it down because it is definitely higher than it needs to be. Okay, I'm going to turn it down and I'm going to taste it again. See if this isn't more to my liking. The other thing, it might need just a little bit more brown sugar. Oh, the lime juice helped. I would like just a little bit more brown sugar. I think I would like a little bit more balance with the sweet component. So instead of doing, I would just add a touch more. I know that's kind of a touch more, but there you go. Okay, there we go. Just a touch more of brown sugar. That's why it's so important to taste your food, because we're all different and we all have different tastes. And so what might be good for one of us might be a little bit off for another. And so when we taste our food, we can adjust it to our liking. And really, that's the fun of cooking, is making it your own and making it how you want it to taste. And remember, I'm also using a lower fat coconut milk, so that can affect things also. Let me taste it again. Yes, that's it. That's it. So I added, for me, I needed a little bit of lime and I need a little bit more sugar. And then for my taste, it is darn well perfect now. So now we're going to add our meatballs to it so they can get all yummy with the flavor. We're going to drop those in. We're going to get them all covered in the sauce. I will tell you, because I did watch her video making this, is I am so fine like 90% of the time using my light coconut milk. But after noticing the difference of hers and mine, because hers is so much richer with the full fat coconut milk, I am a little bit wishing I'd done full fat coconut milk, but oh well. It's fine. It's a weeknight meal, but darn, if I'm not going to try this with full fat, for sure. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so there we go. So it'll be thicker. So that is one regret I'm having right now. As much as I love my light coconut milk, hers just looked so much more spectacular. So this is all set. We're gonna put this over here. I'm gonna bring you back around. Let me just tidy up my counter. And we're gonna finish up our rice and we're gonna get this all plated. So let me just do wipe of a little bit of sauce that came off right here. Get my washcloth and then scooch y'all over. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. I need to steam my broccolini. So let me get that in the microwave while I'm getting this tidied up. Let me see. I'm going to do it for 3 minutes. I don't like my vegetables overcooked. I like them crisp tender. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to move you back. And let's get our show on the road. All right. And I'm going to check the chat. I've not meant to neglect y'all. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me check the chat while our broccolini is cooking. Let's put this all in here. Tidy up a bit. Oh, I need that, so I don't want that to go. And I can put this here. Oh my goodness. I do like to tidy as I go because otherwise it just becomes such a big royal mess. And you all know what I'm talking about. And my, I'm looking for my washcloth. It's over there. I'm like, where'd it go? Okay, now chat time. Let's see. We're talking cologne. Oh, Joanne, welcome. I just saw your name there. Welcome to the stream. Wonderful. Okay, let me catch up. Oh my gosh, I've missed a lot. I love that y'all have been chit-chatting. That is wonderful. So, oh, you're going to watch her making dinner. What are you having, Joanne? Wonderful. I'm glad you came. Oh my gosh, we're talking about bottles. Yeah, in the air fryer, it is. I mean, you know, now if these were really big, they would take longer, but these small little ones, you know, that gets done quite quick. So, and the air fryer at 400 cooks them quite quick. All right, so they are just hanging out in the sauce. They're getting their bath. They're getting their hot tub. And let's see here. Archie says, fish sauce reminds me of my older brother's socks after soccer. Yeah, that's probably pretty much what it smells like, Arch. Absolutely. The aroma, yes, not the taste or smell, it's the aroma, absolutely. It is, well, I will have to say, maybe it's because of my affinity for a lot of the dishes it's in, but I really like fish sauce. Like, I've never had to acquire that taste. Like, I've just always liked it. But the smell does give pause. I'm not going to lie. The first time I ever bought it and used it, because I'd had it in dishes out, I was like, I'm putting this in the dish. But then I'm like, oh, this is really good. And let's see here. And that's how it came to the cologne. I see. So, Joanne, it's in a lot of Thai cooking. So if you've had any Thai cooking you like, there probably is fish sauce in it. It is meant to enhance or season, kind of like Worcestershire sauce does in other dishes. It's just a flavor heightener, flavor enhancer, so to speak. Correct, Archie. Archie said this perfectly. He said fish sauce is a contributory ingredient. So you get the collective taste. Oh, you said that so nicely. The collective taste at the end, not so much the individual fish sauce taste, which is a relief. I couldn't have said it better. And Stampy. What's Stampy doing right now, Arch? Is he bugging you, or has he found himself a nice cozy spot and gone to bed? Oh, sweet Italian sausage. That sounds wonderful. Okay. Alrighty, so let's get this together. So we just steamed our broccolini. So those are here. Let me give myself a little facial. Woo! See how they are? Oh yes, they are plenty done. 3 minutes is fine. Okay, I'm gonna actually temp that so those don't overcook. And now we're gonna get our rice ready. So our rice is generally ready. The only thing we need to do, and I'm gonna turn this down one more there. The only thing we need to do is add our lime zest and our cilantro. That's all. That's all we gotta do. We'll put this here. So let me get that. Now I'm gonna save a little bit of the cilantro for on the top. So I'm gonna put most of this there and put to your heart's content. I'm gonna put all my lime zest there. I want all that lime flavor. And I'm gonna leave this for garnish. Put this here, and I need a little wooden spoon. So that's all we did to our rice, and we're just gonna fluff it up and stir that in. Now you could add, a little bit of oil in here, but that just adds calories. And you could add a little bit of lime juice, would be no problem either. But I will say the lime zest, oh my gosh, the fragrance of this is unmatched. The fragrance of this with the fragrance of that. And let me show you how gorgeous it looks. It's all speckled. Look at that, cilantro lime rice. And this is similar to what I do when I'm making a rice bowl that has, like I think I made one the other day. I can't remember what I put in it. If it was like Mexican beef or whatever, but the Chipotle, some of the bowls of the different places that we have around here in the States, their cilantro lime rice is so good, and it's a great way to zhuzh it up. All right, so let's get our things plated. We've got a bowl, because bowls make everything better, and we're gonna start with some rice in the middle. There we go, and I kind of like to pile it a little bit in the middle. That way, give it a little bit of height. And then I'm going to get some beautiful broccolini and put that on the side. Love broccolini. Okay, gorgeous. That's a big one. Some beautiful broccolini on the side. There we go. And then we need our meatballs. Let me get them, let me stir these up a little bit. Okay. All right. Get them all saucy. Okay. All right. There we go. And you can hear it beeping. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put 5. How about 5 of those? That seems about right. This is a good one. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to take some of the sauce and drizzle it over. Now again, this sauce, if you used the full fat coconut milk, would be much creamier, but I'm telling you the flavor is still there. Nice. Excellent. All right. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more cilantro on top and put my little lime wedge there so we can add a little bit more lime. And let's bring this over to the better light so you can see how gorgeous, whoopsie, this looks. 1 second. Oh my. Try and do it all by myself. There we go. Okay. Let me show you in the better light and see how gorgeous this bowl looks. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? I mean, you can see the broccolini, the chicken, or not chicken, the turkey, Thai curry turkey meatballs. I mean, how nice is that? Absolutely delicious. Okay, let's go taste this now. I'm so excited. Let me put this down so I can get you back in, and I'll give you a review. So thank you, Zena, for this recipe. This is a huge meal. I think I thought I could eat more than I really can. Okay, I'd like a little more lime. I'm going to take some meatball. I'm going to take some rice. I'm going to do that first. Oh, that's delicious. What I love, I gotta show you this. I gotta show you the inside of this. Look how nice this is. I don't want to drip stuff. Let me show you inside that meatball. Look at that. You see that? What I love is the flavor permeates. So you not only have the flavor from the sauce, but excuse me, but it's in the meatball as well. Let me try it again. Absolutely delicious. And I'm going to choke. Some pepper. Oh my goodness. Excuse me, some pepper went down. Zena, it's absolutely delicious. It's also fun when the pepper goes down your throat. It's not, mine's not too spicy. If anything, I actually would add more spice. I'm not coughing because it's spicy. I'm coughing because it went down the wrong pipe. But this is delicious. I love adding the curry paste to the actual meatball. I think that's ingenious. That's a great idea. So these are delicious. Love this recipe. Thank you, Zena. Can't wait to try more of your recipes. And I need to get this out of my throat. And friends, let's see what's coming up next. My goodness. Why does this always happen when I'm in live stream? You know, I could have had this bite all by myself and it would have not happened. But no, I'm on live stream. Let's just start choking. All right, let me see what is coming up. Here we go. Because I have to look at my little schedule, friends. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so coming up on the 21st. Oh, I'm so excited about this. So sometimes, just so you know, fun fact, sometimes I plan my live streams based upon knowing I need to get my butt in gear. Meaning, I've been wanting to make focaccia for the longest time. That's another thing I follow a lot on Instagram is focaccia. People that make focaccia, and I drool over it. And I love eating it out, and I have not made it yet. And how silly is that? I've made sourdough, I've made bagels, I've made other breads. I can't think of the other ones. Pretzels, soft pretzels. Like I've made pizza dough. I've not made focaccia. So coming up, and I think it says right here on the 21st, I'm going to be doing a video drop. So we are actually going to be away that weekend. So I'm going to be doing a video that I'm going to be releasing. And so that way y'all can see my attempts at focaccia. So it won't be live, but I hope you'll enjoy the content and I hope you'll watch because I hope to demystify focaccia and show how easy it is because I will certainly enjoy eating that up. And that's kind of a good one to do anyway because that way I can put together not only mixing it up, the proofing, like any of the care that's needed, which I've heard there's really not much you need to do. There's not a ton. So I will have that for you. So how to make focaccia. And so that will be my next one. So friends, Archie, Joanne, Barbara, Diaz, Ruby, I appreciate so much that you came. Anyone else who's watching, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. And I just am so glad that you guys come into my house every time that we get together. I just really appreciate it. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your week until we eat again. Bye, friends.